If you get woken up for any reason, it is like an alarm. So if you have all these different alarms going off during the night, then it's doing something to your nervous system. So what I find is that if I take this right away after, then I'm able to get back to sleep much faster. I can't tell you how much I've done frequency work of any sort and how many people have gotten out of pain in the middle of the session. So when we're talking about the pineal gland, which we're gonna tune later, when we're stressed, people can be actually leaching calcium from their bones and then it's depositing in different places in their body, including their pineal gland. What if that is what's keeping you up at night, is the comparison to others? I gotta keep up with all these other people. Look at all these people on social media. They got it together and I feel like I'm falling apart. What if that's a lie? And what if you're exactly where you're divinely meant to be in this present moment for a reason? We're going to do a talk and tune about sleep. And in the tuning, we are going to tune our third eye chakra. So the front, both sides on the front, and then both sides on the back, a little bit of the crown chakra, and then our pineal gland so that you can get optimal sleep tonight. So go ahead, take a deep breath in. We're going to settle in here. Take a deep breath in. And let's release any concerns about what's going on in the world right now. Feel free to shake out your body in different ways you feel led to move. Let's connect to our breath, connect to our body. So too often we're just running around and we're just very disconnected from our body. So just pay attention. What does your body want to tell you right now? If you feel any sensations, any pain, your body is trying to speak to you. Take a deep breath in. So as we're doing this, we're relaxing our brainwaves to more of an alpha state. Many of us are probably in a beta or high beta state where we're going during the day. So we're coming to this place where we can receive, where we can hear all the messages God wants to speak right now. Continue to settle in. If you're just joining us right now, we're working on the third eye and the crown, and we are going to talk about sleep today. Millions of people all around the world are not getting enough sleep, and sleep is really the foundation for all of our health. Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So as we move into this talk today, it is my prayer that whatever message you need to hear, whatever nugget that is for you, you are going to take today and run with it. And it's going to be that thing that refines your sleep so you can sleep deeper and wake up feeling more energized, happier, healthier, emotionally well, less anxious, less depressed. less concerns about things that really just don't matter. More focused on what you really do care about. And also more in tune with your intuition. So we all have this pineal gland in the center of our brain. And it not only regulates sleep, but it also regulates how we're connected to all these magnetic fields around us. And the more that we're in tune with that, the more it's like sudden downloads happen, intuitive hits, guidance from God. This is not something you earn. This is something that's already in you. We just gotta remove all the static in the biofield, anything that's causing you to not be in the present moment, anything that's not allowing you to sleep deeply. Because when we don't sleep deeply, it is difficult for our pineal gland to connect to all these different magnetic fields and really receive those signals clearly. It's like we get jammed up in those signals. So you might just be feeling anxious for no reason because the answers are right there, right there if we just clear the distortion, if we just get enough sleep. The pineal note, we have all these magnetosensors around our pineal. We're literally, our whole body really is like one giant crystal, and we receive these signals and then we transmute them. So we are really, divine creatures of God. So, all right, continue to let those waves pass through your body. We are going to talk about sleep today. So thank you so much. In regards to sleep, there's so many different things. Sleep is one of those things that if you do not lay that foundation right, it's really difficult to build upon it in whatever aspect of your life, whether it's your health, your wealth, your marriage, your kids. We really have to think about how can we refine this? I don't think most people are really getting that little extra edge of how can we optimize our sleep. Either we're not going to bed on time, we have constant interruptions, which I'm going to touch on in a second, or we have our body biochemistry is off, our brainwaves are off, we can't shut down our brain. And it's causing a lot of problems for a lot of people, probably more than you even think. Like some of the problems that you might even have, if you just got better sleep, you might find that they might not be a problem anymore. It is really insane. So I gave birth to my child 3 years ago. He is the cutest little toddler and I love him dearly. And we are trying to finally stop nursing. So I did the whole crunchy mama thing and I nursed for a long time. And I felt led to do that. And we even co-slept and all that kind of stuff that crunchy mamas do. But I have to say, I got pregnant again. So if you can't tell, I have a baby in there. I am getting close to halfway there. And the first trimester was so hard. I was really slapped in the face with being reminded about how we could feel really tired during the first trimester. I didn't even know I was pregnant. So I was thinking, oh, I need to detox this thing or that thing, or maybe I just didn't get enough postpartum rest, which I probably didn't. So that's a whole different story in itself. I think that, there's seasons of life. Sometimes there's seasons to go, sometimes there's seasons to rest. Obviously, we just have to do the best we can with whatever the situation is that we have and have grace on yourself in the meantime. But then I find out I'm pregnant. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense why I'm so tired. So at that point, I ended up finally getting to the point where I was like, okay, it is time to stop this nursing thing because I cannot be building a baby and then being disrupted by my dog at night and my son at night. And these interruptions in your sleep are just like, and then when you have these hormones that are making you tired on top of that, it's crazy. Whew. It's worth it, but it's crazy. So, and as a practitioner and a business owner, it was really hard for me to function, which is why I was not here live for the last few months. So the first thing when we're talking about sleep is you have to try to get the interruptions out of your sleep as much as possible. For me, what this looked like is, I started to try to wean, which that was also kind of an emotional wreck and craziness. And we're still working on it, by the way. This is not easy. Yeah, nobody warned me about this. Okay, well, what do I do? So I had already kind of been giving him some of this hemp oil, which I'll talk about how this helped me. But this one, they have a 0T option, which there's hardly any THC in this hemp oil. It's mostly CBD and other compounds of the hemp flower. So it's not supposed to be psychoactive. Because some people, if they want to give it to their kids, they get a little bit concerned about that. So I got the one that was a 0T, and I had been giving it to him. And I think it was kind of helping, but it wasn't really completely getting him to rest enough. So I was like, okay, well, if I need to cut the interruptions out and I need to, have him stop waking me up. If he wakes up, he's going to want a nurse. So, and then I'm disrupted. And then it's hard to go back to sleep. So this is actually why I'm doing this sleep talk right now, because I have been really slapped in the face with how much it really affects you. So I ended up thinking outside the box, and at some point, my husband bought him some melatonin, so that was really nice. He was giving him some ashwagandha as well, so these liquid tinctures. The stuff that I have in my store, some of them are not as kid-friendly, or you have a toddler and he kind of picks and chooses what he wants. So I started giving him some of this magnesium too. I'll take it out of the capsule and I'll put it on a spoon and then he'll eat it. So, but sometimes he doesn't always do that, so I had to kind of start thinking of other things. So one day I was like, oh my gosh, there's this lady at the farmer's market, and I don't think I saw her pop on here, but I'm giving you a shout out, Tamla. So this lady, she makes this magnesium spray. So I got this from the farmer's market. We gave him this, and I think the first night that he actually slept through the night, he had this and ashwagandha. For people that might have kids having a hard time sleeping through the night, this was amazing. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's been over 3 years since I've had a good night's sleep. I was just like, oh my God, it works. I can get to sleep one full night. The dog is a whole nother story. You spray this on his feet a couple times. She was like, oh, just kind of dilute it. No, he needed full sprays, and I do it like 3 of them on each foot. That, and then also giving him ashwagandha at first, and then we ended up changing it to melatonin. I'm not usually a fan of taking melatonin for sleep, but when you're desperate, you're desperate. I'm going to talk about what I personally like to do instead of melatonin that helps to boost your melatonin. For now, it's working with this and the melatonin. We're getting him to sleep a little bit deeper, so that's one step for Jacqueline having some sanity. The other thing that I started doing is I was like, I really feel like I need to have my hemp oil back in my life. So on this note, this God's Glory Serenity Oil, I'm telling you, seriously, everybody needs this. And it tastes so good too. You know how sometimes hemp oils or CBDs kind of have that hempy flavor? This has passion flower and chamomile and lavender in it, and it's like a treat. You could take it under your tongue, or you could put it in some type of drink. So if I just even want to relax on the weekend, or like a Friday night or something, instead of having, of course, not being pregnant, I'm not gonna have alcoholic beverage. And the more I think about alcohol, the more I'm just like, ugh. Can we just take that out of the world? It causes parasites. What it does to people is just, anyways. That's my personal opinion. I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna have a drink again. I most likely am not, because I just, yeah. So my replacement would be using this in some type of soda water or a flavored drink, a kombucha. And it is like just sipping on some heavenly goodness. But just in general, you could literally take it at night. And what I started doing is I would take it before bed, and if I got woken up at night. So if my son's waking me up or my dog is waking me up, luckily my husband doesn't wake me up. I'm like, I don't need any more. Oh, and then pregnancy, that will wake you up too. So you get hungry. So now I'm putting snacks by my bed, and I'm like, okay, well, if I need a snack, at least it's there. If you get woken up for any reason, it is like an alarm. So if you have all these different alarms going off during the night, then it's doing something to your nervous system. So what I find is that if I take this right away after, then I'm able to get back to sleep much faster. You might even find you benefit from this during the day. I think that if I take too much during the day, I try not to do it during the day unless I feel like a little bit anxious, like before I did this live. It's been a while since I did a live and I was like, ah! So to cut the edge a little, I just took a couple drops. So that's what I like to do if I feel anxious or if my emotions are a little bit off. So it can be used for other things besides sleep, and it can help to kind of regulate your nervous system during the day. So by the time you go to sleep, then you're not at an extra heightened level. So I wrote this article on my website, and I was thinking, what are all the different things that we could talk about? And I even read this and I was like, still feel like I'm missing some things in here. I think I'm going to go back and add some stuff, but there's a lot of things that you could think about that maybe might benefit from your sleep. So in sleep articles, there's not very many. So the endocannabinoid system helps to regulate your sleep stages. So it balances REM and non-REM cycles. REM is that deep sleep. It helps to reduce stress and anxiety, like we talked about. It decreases pain. Sometimes people can't sleep because they're in pain. People are tossing and turning, trying to find the right place to sleep because of pain. There could be many reasons for pain. Always, as a holistic doctor, I'm looking at things from all these different directions. So if you are deficient in magnesium, for example, then you could have pain. Obviously, there could be something structural, there could be something biochemical, you could have a parasite, you could have all kinds of different things. So if you have not figured out what the root cause is of the pain, then I would definitely do that. But doing something like a hemp oil is something that you can do already to help to try to decrease the inflammation and try to get out of pain. I just wanted to touch on how there could be other factors, because if that doesn't completely work, and of course dosing matters too, then you might want to think about other reasons why the pain could be there. And the big one, frequency imbalances, trap stress and trauma. I can't tell you how much I've done frequency work of any sort, whether it's Biofield Tuning, Zyto Evox, or emotion code and body code. I don't do that too much anymore, but actually I don't really do that unless it's on myself. But with my clients, I do those other two. And I can't tell you how many people have gotten out of pain in the middle of the session, whether it's a migraine. I've had migraines a handful of times in my life, and I can't tell you how many times I just took it away. And I figured that out because it was helping my clients get rid of their migraines. And then just random other things. Someone's heart, in the middle of a session, we released some trapped emotions, and then all of a sudden their heart was feeling better. I saw this guy almost died before my eyes. That was very traumatic. That was before I learned all this trauma work. He had a lingering pain for maybe about 9 months, and he knew all the holistic doctors and chiropractors and all the good people. So he obviously went and did all this other work. He comes to me and we do some emotion work, and we release a couple of emotions, just maybe 3. And all of a sudden he's moving around, and I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, this pain that I've been carrying since I fell off that tree he was literally swinging into the river off of a tree. He's like, it's gone. I can't follow up with him afterwards. It's still gone. It's still gone. So crazy. That was the most mind-blowing one by far. The thing with pain is our body is literally leaking light when we have trapped stress and trauma. And it's like a kink in the hose. So I think that's why it's causing pain. Now, when you fix the light in your biofield, this magnetic field around you, and you put it back in the body, now the body has the energy to circulate and do what it needs to do to function correctly. So that's probably why it helps to get rid of pain as well. The other thing that the hemp oil does is it supports hormone balance. It balances your cortisol and then it optimizes your melatonin rhythms too. So those are a couple nuggets. That's why I just think most people probably would benefit from this for so many different reasons. Let's talk about a couple other things here. When you sleep, your brain is detoxing. You have this glymphatic system in your brain, which is the lymphatic system in your brain. And if you don't sleep, you're not going to get rid of all the beta amyloid plaque that's built up. You could have brain challenges of any sorts. So one of the things that I learned from being a new mom is this whole idea of mom brain. And I was like, no, I'm a holistic doctor. I know all this stuff. I'm not going to have mom brain. No, when you do not get enough sleep, your brain does not function right. And I can tell you firsthand, I was like, no, that's not gonna happen to me. And sure enough, with a messed up sleep, your brain just doesn't function. And it's very defeating, especially this type of work. You really need your brain. And I do very much intuitive work too. Like you're kind of trying to receive these downloads. And if you're not sleeping well enough, it's like a signal jammer for those downloads. And running a business, really, you have to have intuition. You have to be connected to God. You have to hear the divine revelation. Otherwise, you feel like you're going like this all the time. It's like, I don't know where to go. Despite it all, God was still kind of guiding my path. But I'll tell you, it's a lot harder when you don't have that sleep. So we talked about how the glymphatic system helps to flush out toxins. And then just over time, if we keep repeating this pattern of not sleeping, it could lead to things like dementia and Alzheimer too. I think those things are multifaceted, just like everything else. So I don't think sleep is usually the only thing that people are doing that are causing those problems. So again, look at the whole picture. Now, on the hormone balance, there's different types of hormones that I want to touch on. We have our adrenal glands, we have our thyroid, we have our female and male hormones. On the adrenal note, if you have high cortisol, so if you're stressed throughout the day, which is another reason why this is amazing, magnesium, we're going to talk about nutritional deficiencies in a second. The more that our body and our mind are stressed, we can have high cortisol in the evening. What we really want is high cortisol in the morning, and then as we go about our day, it goes down and down and down. And so the evening is not when we want it high. Otherwise, that's going to keep us awake. We feel wired, but we're tired. There's a product that I have in my store, thewellnesstreeniestore.com. It's called Anxietone. That one helps to calm the mind, release the anxiety, promote relaxation, and modulate that whole cortisol situation. That you could take at night. And it's kind of like the hemp oil too. You could take a little bit during the day too if you need to kind of cut the edge of the anxiety. It's nutrients coming from a different direction. There's glandulars, there's herbs, and it will definitely support your adrenals. Then the other idea is the opposite would be low cortisol. I just actually learned this recently. I was like, why am I waking up at night? Being pregnant. And I think it was a low cortisol thing. If we have low cortisol, it could actually wake us up in the middle of the night, or it could wake us up too early in the morning too. That's something that I like to use adrenal glandulars for. And you can test for all this stuff. I updated all my tests on my website. I am so happy about that, except the hair tissue mineral analysis is the same. You can literally run your own lab. Of course, I think that most people should work with a practitioner first, but if you're like, I don't want to screw that, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just do my own lab and just, some people like me and my husband are like that. There's a salivary hormone test, and I do have one that is a little bit more extensive, the hormone zoomer. I will muscle test a protocol in the background and just email it to you. So there's no coaching involved in that one. It's just straight, here's your supplements based on that test. You can figure out whether your adrenal glands are low or high, or how they're doing throughout the day, so you can kind of regulate that a little bit better too. And obviously some of this you might just have an intuitive sense, or maybe you can self-muscle test yourself too. High stress adrenal, that's one of the main supplements. I do have an adrenal glandular by itself too. And high stress adrenal is the adrenal glandular with some other herbs that help to regulate your adrenal glands, especially if you have low cortisol. That's the idea of the adrenal glands. If your thyroid is off, which most people have thyroid problems, whether they realize it or not, whether your blood tests are telling you or not, you could see this in a hair tissue mineral analysis. Hair tissue mineral analysis is such a good way to see things before they're a huge problem. And you can see your adrenal glands on there as well too. You can see your thyroid and adrenal glands, whether they're both high or probably low. And then you can use your mineral balancing program to try to help regulate that as well. I don't want to discredit blood tests. I've done a few being pregnant, and it could be a good complement to see things in different directions. I like to do different tests because you could see things that you might not see in other tests. But I do have to say that a lot of people are missing things like if they have a hypothyroid or hyperthyroid, because it doesn't always show right away because your blood is always trying to stabilize, versus the tissues are more of a longer duration of time of data that's showing up. And then you can get more of a clear idea where you're at before it even shows up on a test. Before it's a huge problem, basically. Hypothyroidism is low thyroid. You might feel fatigued, you might have poor body temperature regulation, and that can all disturb your sleep. If your temperature is all off, that alone can disturb your sleep. People with hypothyroid, they might wake up and it doesn't matter how long they slept. It's kind of like when your adrenal glands are off. You might find that you're just not feeling refreshed, even though you've slept a lot. And there's many reasons why we could be hypothyroid. It's not just that we don't have the nutrients, but we could have toxins that are disrupting the thyroid as well. So again, look at things holistically. Hyperthyroidism is an overactive one that can lead to restlessness, racing thoughts, night sweats, insomnia, can make it difficult to enter a deep restorative sleep. All of this obviously is going to affect our neurotransmitter production, our central nervous system. So you definitely want to think about your thyroid. If your female hormones are off, if you're a female, estrogen, progesterone, that's a big one that people also can have some problems with not sleeping too well too. Sometimes people will be like, well, I'm taking the magnesium, I'm doing my frequency work, I'm doing whatever. It seems like they're doing all of it. I had one client just like this. Fine, I'm going off the list. Your EMFs are bad. Let's fix that. Okay, she's like trying to fix that. I don't know if they're completely fixed, but I had her on a PEMF mat trying to get rid of this stuff, which that's a whole nother thing we'll get to in the frequency section of this. And then I was like, wait a second, I need to look at her hormones. I muscle tested and I was like, wow, your estrogen seems really, really low. So I gave her this supplement called Simply Ovary, which is a glandular to help boost your estrogen. and she started sleeping. So she also just felt more of those like good love vibrations too. So it is really interesting how it does affect your emotions as well when your hormones are off. The general idea is if you are low in estrogen, I like to use a ovary glandular. And if you are low in progesterone, I like to use a uterus glandular. And those are both on the wellnesstrainingstore.com. And if you're low in both, you could take the glandular separately, but there's a product called Feminine Advantage that is also in the store too, that a lot of females that I work with, including myself at different times, I've used that. And I'm like, wow, this really does help you to get a much better sleep. And it's weird, but I will say you just feel like a woman. I don't know if any woman can understand that whole feeling, but I'm like, wow, I just feel like a woman taking this. And if you guys need to fix your libido, that one could help too. Again, could be other reasons why that's off, but if it's hormonal, you'll find that will help your libido. And then low T, my men out there, if you have low testosterone, that could also be disturbing your sleep too. So Masculine Advantage, it has Orchic, which are basically bull balls, and that helps to raise testosterone naturally. So I rather use glandulars than bioidenticals or other types of synthetic hormones. You're talking to a traditional naturopath over here who doesn't like to do anything chemical wise. So glandulars have been such an amazing way to support hormones. Let's go into the mitochondria. The mitochondria are powerhouses in our cell. They help us create energy. If our powerhouses are damaged in any kind of way, that's when we can get sick. So when we're sleeping, there's a lot of repair and replenishment going on in our mitochondria. So this is kind of like the whole brain detox. Like if we're not getting enough sleep, then we are not going to have enough energy to heal the body. And it's happening all the way down at a mitochondrial level. If you are not producing enough energy, which is basically called ATP, from the mitochondria, your cognitive function can be impaired, your immune system, your physical performance. Even your muscles have a lot of mitochondria. You need that mitochondria to be able to build muscle. So you'll just feel physically and mentally tired. The liver and gallbladder, if those are backed up for whatever reason, you have too many toxins, you ate too much, you have pathogens, it can wake you up at night. If you have parasites, it could wake you up generally in the wee hours of the morning. I would say like 1 to 5 or so. They come out and then they like to repopulate. I don't know why they do it at that time, but for some reason they like that time. So if you wake up in the middle of the night, it might be because your liver is having a lot of congestion and it could be parasitic related too. I would definitely consider that could be a problem. The liver and gallbladder are huge for detoxification too. So the liver is primarily the main detoxification organ. It filters out toxins, metabolizes hormones. See how everything kind of relates? Even the liver has to do with your hormones, especially your thyroid. The liver and the gallbladder play a role in fat. It produces bile, and then the bile digests the fat, and we need fat to build our hormones. It also helps to regulate glucose, you balance your blood sugar. If our blood sugar is off, if we don't even eat enough during the day, you might find that you wake up at night because your body's like, hello, I'm hungry. The other side too is if you have too much sugar, it also could wake you up at night too. The liver plays a role in processing and stabilizing that glucose too. Now let's get into nutrient deficiencies. People start thinking about nutritional deficiencies. I think usually they're starting to think magnesium. It is involved in over 2,000 chemical reactions or so in the body. And most of the time, people are very deficient in this. You could do a hair test, you could do a whole blood cell test. I just uploaded that on my store. All these tests you can run by yourself, and then I'll tell you what to do. Magnesium is definitely one of those things that people get deficient in. I think because we're really stressed. There's a lot of reasons to be stressed. Whether we are meditating or a lot at night, there's all these electromagnetic fields just stressing our body, even if we're trying to do all the good things. Magnesium is one of those nutrients that can get extra depleted. This guy, Morley Robbins, called it the magnesium burn rate. So the more that we're stressed, the more we're probably burning magnesium away. That's very important. It helps to relax your muscles, helps relax your body. When you go to sleep, you gotta relax, right? It supports neurotransmitters like GABA. We mentioned it slightly in the beginning, that whole idea of feeling wired but tired. That's a sign of not enough GABA. So if you don't have enough magnesium, you're not going to be able to produce enough GABA to calm down. I would say most people will benefit from this. There's a reason why I promote this brand like crazy, because it's all food. Food digests in a whole different way than synthetic stuff. I am not a fan of synthetic vitamins because first of all, you're gonna 10 times more the amount from taking less. Now, I still think people tend to need a lot more than they think they need. You might as well get the most bang for your buck. You'll notice if you take a food supplement versus a synthetic too, how different it is. There's other cofactors to magnesium, like calcium. Now, I would not be taking calcium if you do not test. Do a hair test, do a hair tissue mineral analysis, like I've been mentioning throughout this time, and see where your calcium is at, because if it's too high, you do not want any more calcium in your system. It's hardening your body and it could be making you have issues sleeping. So when we're talking about the pineal gland, which we're going to tune later, when we're stressed, people could be actually leaching calcium from their bones and then it's depositing in different places in their body, including their pineal gland. We got to be careful about adding the calcium in. I'm not really concerned about people experimenting with magnesium, but I am concerned about them experimenting with calcium. And now, again, if you're taking food, it is going to metabolize a lot better. You'll probably pee out the stuff that you do not use. But either way, I still like to be cautious. But calcium, the reason why this is important, it also supports relaxation and neural signaling. So the neurons firing in your brain. Our brain needs to work to be able to sleep. You think, okay, I'm going to relax, but your body actually is still active. Those two work together. If you don't have enough magnesium, you're not going to absorb all your calcium and vice versa. Vitamin D is another one. I like to take vitamin D during the day. When I was pregnant the first time, I was noticing if I took it at night, it was making me awake at night. But I just caught in this habit of, if I'm going to take vitamin D, I'm going to take it during the day and the other one's at night. So you can also try that. Timing is really important when you're taking supplements, especially when you're trying to regulate your sleep. Some of the supplements, if you're trying to support your adrenal glands and you have low cortisol, you might want to take that supplement during the day versus at night, because then you don't want to try to raise your cortisol too much before you go to bed, for example. That's the same idea with vitamin D. That's another cofactor to magnesium and calcium. Low levels are associated with shorter sleep duration and poor sleep efficiency. Vitamin D is like a hormone. Now, zinc is another one that's very calming. And if we don't have enough zinc, and again, I wouldn't just experiment with this, I would test, not guess, because you could throw off your copper. So we need zinc to build progesterone and testosterone, and you need copper to build your estrogen. So you don't want to have too much of this and not enough copper. This is one of those things that can get pretty deficient if people are stressed though, because there's just a group of them. Magnesium, zinc, vitamin C, and B vitamins all tend to get depleted more when people are stressed. But I would, again, check, not guess. But zinc is important for supporting your hormone production, your neural signaling once again, and your relaxation. Of course, it supports your immunity. And if you do have any type of gut bugs, pathogens, that might be something that you might need to decrease the load with addressing your deficiency. Hematic formula is something I use to boost iron. If people are low in iron, it can cause restless leg syndrome. So you can kind of feel like, there's a few times I've been deficient in, if I feel off, I go right away to my stuff and I'm like, okay, what do I need? I muscle test everything. You just need more iron when you're pregnant. Iron is one of those things that I think people will do a blood test and they might see they're low. There could be other reasons, like low vitamin C, which is a cofactor to iron. You might benefit from taking the vitamin C more than actually taking the iron itself. That's when I wouldn't be as concerned about trying if you know you are low on iron, because it's food. And I would not mess with that synthetic stuff. It does not absorb the same way. And you can actually do more damage than good if you're taking synthetic vitamins. Tryptophan builds serotonin, which is our happy neurotransmitter. And then serotonin builds melatonin, which helps us to sleep. I've just been taught that it's better to use the amino acid that builds the neurotransmitter basically than the actual compound itself. Instead of taking GABA, take magnesium, or take other things that like theanine that could support it. I've always kind of come at that direction. I think that the molecule can be kind of big and maybe harder to absorb is a theory. I do find that this is gold when people are low in their serotonin or their tryptophan, aka probably not getting enough melatonin. So frequencies. When we wake up, if you want to sleep well at night, you need to get sun during the day and ideally in the morning. So that will help regulate your melatonin better. If we're just cooped up all in the dark all day, then your melatonin's not going to be regulated. If you're in front of EMFs, computers, blue lights all day, and you're not really doing anything to diffuse that at night, blue blocker glasses, etc. Or even when you're on the computer. I have blue blocking capabilities in my contacts now. Everything's high tech nowadays. And that can also help to just not be as affected by it when you're using these devices, but especially at night. So if you are having a hard time sleeping at night and you're literally on your phone or your iPad or you're watching TV, you have your lights blaring at night, like my mom, it's nighttime. Why are the lights so bright right now? That's not gonna help you relax. Think about in Paleolithic times, they'd be cozying around a fire in the dark. They're not putting all these lights on. So I would think about those things. Sleep hygiene is kind of how I think about it before you go to bed. So get light during the day, and then before you go to bed, you want to get rid of all the blue lights. And then the thing with the EMF too, that can really just disrupt the nervous system. So one of the things that I personally like is a PEMF mat. So the one that's under here that you can't see is another one I have. It's a rainbow chakra mat, but this one is a nice affordable one. This is a smaller one. It travels with me to my bed in my office so I could sit on it. I would use a delta or even theta brainwave. I mostly sleep with 3 hertz because that's a delta brainwave. That's your really deep sleep. And then, so not only are you helping your brainwaves, but you're also being able to help relax the body. And then a theta brainwave, that's delta is 1 to 4 hertz, 5 to 8 hertz is a theta brainwave. So that's the in between. Before you go to sleep, you're kind of winding down. And then when you wake up, you're winding up. And so that's you're half awake, half asleep. A lot of people like to meditate in that zone because you can receive some intuitive downloads during that time. I find that when I wake up like that and I'm just sitting there and half awake, I get some good intuitive hits there too. It's a lot louder when we haven't just amped up all these brainwaves. So that is a really good way to work on the brainwaves, but also to help get rid of all this EMF exposure that we experience from all our technologies and just whatever's in the invisible environment, all these cell phone towers. So I would try to also be mindful. You live next to a cell phone tower. Are you sleeping near a smart meter? All these things can really be disrupting your sleep. You could get an EMF meter and go around your house and check these things too, or go to antennasearch.com and see what's in your community. So first of all, think about those things in terms of your frequency health. You could use technologies too, like this, to work on your brainwaves and sleep deeper. I love this. It has light therapy. It's like a meditation on steroids. It has light therapy that goes to the ears and goes to the eyes, and then you could either do the guided meditations or just do the sound therapy. But the Brain Tap is a wonderful tool that hooks up to this app on your phone and has all these different sessions. And depending on what you're trying to achieve, that's what you're going to want to do with the Brain Tap. There's a whole sleep section that can make it easy. Or you can look up delta brainwaves or theta brainwaves, and that will also just help to wind down the brain. Part of the reason why we have a hard time sleeping is because the brain's just like, I'm thinking about my day, I'm all my stress and all the things that the mind needs to calm down. This is really a nice addition, in addition to thinking about getting light during the day, thinking about your EMF health, thinking about getting the blue lights down at night and all the lights in general, as well as making sure you're getting all the nutrients, thinking about your liver detoxification, if there's gut bugs, distractions. Thinking about the distractions too. I have a whole playlist, so I'm going to do a Biofield Tuning in a few minutes here. We're going to tune the Biofield to help with sleep. I'm going to work at third eye chakra in the crown and also get your pineal gland. Any kind of stress and trauma in this whole head area that could be causing sleep problems for you. I do have a whole list of Biofield tuning sessions on my YouTube channel if you're not following me there yet. And I find that even though they're not all for sleep, there's a couple for sleep that are on there. It is pretty relaxing. Some people do listen to it during the day and they're just like, it gets my day going. Or it's a good cat nap in the middle of the day, or cat rest, I guess you could say. If you listen to them before night, it could also be nice to wind down and let your body relax as well too. It's kind of hard not to relax when you have those tones. You'll feel it if this is new to you. And then essential oils. In this article that I wrote, and then on my website you'll see, so it has links in the article for all of the stuff I talk about. Sleep essential oil and the circadian rhythm oil from Vibrant Blue are the ones that I like for sleep. So the sleep oil, you just put your neck right here. That one smells really good. And then the circadian rhythm, put it here and here and here. All 4 points here. It helps to regulate your circadian rhythm, so your sleep and wake cycles. All right, did I tell you enough about how to try to maximize your sleep? I hope that whatever you needed to hear, you got. There's a lot of things. There's a lot more that we could go deeper. Before we get started and transitioning into this Biofield tuning, I do want to mention I have been offering this free muscle test and assessment. So if you don't know about muscle testing, we're basically tapping into the body's energetic field, and it has all the information. And this can all be done remotely too, because of how we're living in one big electromagnetic bubble. So just like how our cell phones can connect. We can connect in muscle testing as well too with permission. I'm able to figure out in this muscle test different types of pathogens and toxins. It's a pretty simple muscle test, but simple but pretty on point, so that we can figure out what is causing any health issues for the person, whether it's sleep or it's something else. If you're like, well, I want to know if I'm deficient in one of those things, or if anything in this talk kind of made you curious, like I wonder if I'm dealing with that too. If you do sign up with that 20-minute link, which I will put in the show notes, go ahead and just let me know, and then I'll add that to the things I muscle test. That's just my extra gift, because this is meant to be a simple muscle testing assessment. And with that assessment, I am writing a little protocol where I tell you what types of labs you could do on your own, Biofield Tuning programs that I made that you can also listen to on your own. And then there's some supplement bundles that I have on my website too. So it's very simple. They all have a protocol chart, and there's been a couple little extra things that I usually add. It's hard not to think about those things when I talk to people and their health challenges. I've had several testimonies. I had a lot of people sign up right away when I first offered this, and I kept getting all these testimonies back. Oh my God, that one little thing just started really shifting things. Just like how I kept mentioning the hemp oil. I'm like, oh my God, I'm sleeping better, waking up happier, more motivated. Even though my sleep is not completely ideal yet. That's how these people were too. And it was all different things, but when you're getting that specific with the thing that you need, whether it's a biochemical thing or a frequency thing or a detox thing, or a lot of these people even had some of this stuff already. They just weren't using it. They just didn't even know. It's one thing to have the tools. It's another thing to know how to use them. And the dosing as well is very important. Anyways, okay, so that is that. I will have that link in the show notes. And then also, if you do seem like a candidate for one-on-one work, we'll talk about what that would look like too, because one of the people that did sign up, I did onboard her for some more deeper emotion work and being more coached. I think that there's a time and a season for that too. And we just did one Biofield tuning session, and it just rocked her world. She was like, oh my God, my energy is so much better. She's like, normally the whole weekend she would have to sleep. It's unbelievable how this works. All right, well, let's go ahead and shift gears here. If you're new to Biofield tuning, we have this energetic field around our body, and it extends about 5 to 6 feet out in both directions. Actually, it's all around us. We're like an apple, and the central channel, so this area here, we have a negative charge. We have an energy center that's underneath our feet, and then we have a positive charge above our head, and the energy flows up and then the energy flows down, and then it spirals out into the edge around us. It is really important to have strong boundaries around our biofield. If we had any type of birth trauma or pregnancy trauma when we were in the womb, then we could have rips and tears in our biofield even from birth. So I have been doing some work myself even just recently on mending some of those areas, because normally I'm going through the timeline of the life, and that seems to be more juicy stuff because I'm more aware of it to work on. But that whole pregnancy and even postpartum time when we were just born is also very important. But the thing is, when we do work on the central channel, it does strengthen the boundary too. So we're not going to work on the central channel today, but I just wanted to touch on that. We are going to work on the third eye chakra. So if you are new to chakras, they're just energy centers. There's nothing woo-woo about them. They are vortexes of energy, and it's as real as our liver is real, as our eye is real, as our mouth is real, and our nose, etc. We all have these energy centers. And when they are off because we've had stress and trauma at any times in our life, or even inherited, so these ancestral rivers are inherited information, then we can find that these chakras are not spinning correctly, and then it could cause health challenges, and it can even cause sleeping challenges as well too. The sleeping challenges could be from other areas in the biofield, especially the root. If we don't feel safe in our home, then a lot of other things are just not going to work correctly, including not being able to sleep. Like if you don't feel safe in general, how can you mentally let yourself down unless you are just totally beyond tired? There's a point where we can't even run from the bear anymore. First things first is you got to feel safe. Overthinking, overworking, not feeling safe, not having all your needs met, this root chakra, that's all that energy. So the mind can't shut down, and it can be hard to sleep. But when this is a little bit more in order, the energy can rise more, and this can get all clouded in the head. And the third eye chakra on the left side has to do about worrying about the future, and then the right side has to do about regrets of the past. And it could also hold this inner critic type of feeling. So it's one of those things that it's causing us to, we're like in the future or in the past, or maybe we're both and we're going like this, but we're not really centered in the present, and that can throw off our sleep. The other idea is in the back of our head. Actually, we have a third eye chakra too. That's things in the back of your mind, things that you need closure for, unresolved challenges in your life, unfinished projects, things that need an ending. I find that even too when people go on a detox journey, a healing journey, that sometimes they need that to be tuned to release trauma from the healing journey, because that could also be kind of traumatic as well. That's the idea of the third eye chakra. And the pineal gland is in the middle of that whole space, which is why that's important. And the pineal gland regulates our melatonin, which regulates our sleep. I will also touch on calcification of the pineal gland too, and try to make sure energetically put intentions to break that down. And then our crown chakra above our head, that's the color white. So that's up here. This has to do with our connection with God. So, and when I say that, it's like this connection to every single thing in the universe, this infinite consciousness and love that holds everything together. We're already connected to everything based on the whole idea of these chakras. It's like we're spinning vortexes out of this consciousness. When we don't feel connected to the whole, and that's kind of what I think about as God, then it can make us feel very overwhelmed. We could feel time pressured. It can go back to that whole idea, oh, my needs are not met. How are they going to be met? When we can finally get that energy to rise up to the crown, then it can release a lot of that overwhelm as well too. And when we're not so overwhelmed, we can relax and sleep deeper. That is the idea of the crown. In the crown, we also play our unique frequency signature. We are all called to different types of purposes. And the more that we get more in tune with how we fit into the collective, our divine purpose, our unique frequency signature has a lot more sense. As much as I've been frustrated in this business, for example, at certain points, and I'm like, I just want to run away. I just want to hide and burn out. Once I actually get some rest, I'm like, okay, no, I love this, I am divinely called to do this. There's a reason why I show up here. It's not just that I do this for fun, or I do this because I have to, I should say. Like, your purpose should be kind of fun. I'm not going to say it's not hard at times, but I think where there's just this passion, this love, this desire to shift the world, you'll find that your crown chakra is very much in line with that too. Let's go ahead and let's relax. We are going to get started. I am going to start with this 222 hertz. Let's take some deep breaths in. Let's relax now. Okay, I am going to start on the left side of the third eye chakra, the worrying about the future. And when I do this, I often like to close my eyes so I can cut any distractions around me, so I can really hear from God. Take a deep breath in. So we're setting the intention of being able to sleep deeply tonight. And just in general, every night, whatever is blocking that deep restorative sleep and repair at night. So I want you to imagine the noise on the left side of the brain is being calmed down right now. All the worries of the world are just cast away, just like they don't matter. All that matters is you're getting deep restorative sleep tonight and every night from now on. See yourself getting that deep restorative sleep. And as we're calming this side of your third eye chakra and your brain down, I want you to imagine that that right hip, the right side of your root chakra, this overdoing, overthinking feeling. Calming down. There's just some things that we're meant to surrender. And it doesn't mean you don't take responsibility. You take the steps God shows you to take. But then there's a time where we just have to lean back like a baby in its mother's arms, trusting that everything's going to work out for good. God's got your back. I could sleep well. I could play in the midst of the storm. I want you to imagine loosening the grip in your hand right now. It's like, I can relax. I don't have to hold everything so tightly. When it's time to pick up that responsibility, you'll pick it up. And it will come with so much more flow and ease and grace as you take this time to relax and release. I had a situation recently where I was really worried about something, and I took a step forward in the midst of fear. And then all of a sudden, everything just shifted. Oh. What if the giant isn't as big as you think it is? Ooh. What if we're just drumming up the worry like it's so much bigger than it really is? What if there's just too many programs thinking about it? Like, what about this part? What about that part? What if we just calm the monkey mind? Settled in. It's like, bam, that's when the revelation happens. And then that's when we really feel like we can rest, when we get that revelation. You're already connected to the answer. All these chakras, it's like we're divinely connected to the answers, to the resources, to the finances. Just calm the static. See the static around your head calming down. I imagine like those old school TVs where it would get all glitchy. But we're clearing the glitch. We're clearing the glitch around the static around your head so you can receive deeper revelation. Answers that you need. Solutions are just popping up. Showing up at your door, showing up in your email. I imagine it's like God giving you a big hug right now. He's like, you're okay, I got you. So whatever the problem is, let's see the solution is here right now. There's something that when we can really catch that vision and feel it in our body, how it shifts our magnetic field in a way where it's like we're sending the right signal out to bring it back in. So I'm going to put all those biofrequencies back in, the third eye chakra from the left side. No more worries. Just rest. Rest in your mind, rest in your body. And now we're going to go on the other side, on the right side of our third eye chakra. So this is the 852 hertz. And the third eye chakra actually resonates at this frequency. I feel new layers of anxiety falling away here. And now it's more of this regret of the past, like this. I should have did this, I should have did that. Why am I not where I want to be right now in life? What if you're exactly where you're meant to be right now for a reason? Stop comparing yourself to others. What if that is what's keeping you up at night, is the comparison to others? I gotta keep up with all these other people. Look at all these people on social media. They got it together and I feel like I'm falling apart. What if that's a lie? And what if you're exactly where you're divinely meant to be in this present moment for a reason? You're special. If no one has ever told you that, I want you to receive that message in your heart right now. You're special. You're loved. God loves you just the way you are. You know what? We all come into this existence here on this earthly plane already with different layers of stress and trauma that was inherited. So we don't really come in this world with a level playing field. We're born into different environments. And I don't want to use this as like a victim mentality, but as a way to just honor yourself if you feel like, why am I not where I want to be right now? In whatever area of your life you might be thinking that. So you'll find as you continue to clear the static in your biofield, it's like quantum leaps can start to happen. Sometimes instantly, but sometimes there is this like a kind of like a Herxheimer reaction too, where it feels a little messy and chaotic before everything just falls into place. It's kind of like we have to be broken down to be built back up. It's like detoxing or even building muscle is like that too. So just trust the process. If you're doing this work, it's for a reason. There is an absolute reason you're here today. The world needs this. The collective consciousness is shifting for good right now, even though it looks messy. We're going through that breakdown because old paradigms have to break so that the light can shine, so that truth can be seen. So if your life feels chaotic, just trust that it's being broken down so you can be built back up so your light can shine brighter. The light's in there already. It's already there. Our biofield is light. We're just again clearing the static. All right, let's put those biofrequencies right back into the third eye chakra from the right side of your brain here, your head. And then we're going to connect to the front of your third eye chakra to the front of the biofield. So I want you to imagine purple light coming from the third eye, going to the front of your biofield. We're strengthening the integrity of your brain, connecting the left and the right side of your brain wherever it was imbalanced. I want you to imagine the signals from left to right being sent with ease and grace. You're able to flow from the logical side to the creative side, back and forth. And as that's happening, in complete peace and balance, your pineal gland is being energized. And right now I'm already seeing calcification on the pineal gland shattering. Just imagine that. So fluoride can make the pineal gland calcified because it pulls calcium out of the bones, and then it deposits in other areas in the body. So I want you to imagine all the fluoride in the body being detoxed away, and as that happens, the calcification around the pineal gland is being broken down, shattered. I see lights shining all around the pineal gland. It's like, oh, I could see again, I could breathe. We didn't even get to the pineal tuning yet, but wow. Okay, so we're going to go to the back of your third eye chakra, so the back of the head. This is related to your occipital lobe. So if you have any challenges with vision as well, this could potentially help with that. Of course, the pineal gland is like our extra vision, our extra sense of the unseen things. People actually used to see magnetic fields when their pineal gland was probably the size of a lemon, but now people don't see as much of I guess they're unseen to most of us. But anyways, all right, let's go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna kind of skim coat it. We're shutting off all the monkey brain. Go, go, go. It's okay to stop, it's okay to pause. So let's see old chapters being closed that no longer serve you, old projects finished. You're able to really just kind of relax around things in your life. Even people that might have slipped away, just trust in the process. As we heal, you might find that your relationships change for good. Sometimes you might find yourself in a lonely place at first in the process, but it's better to be in healthy relationships. That's another thing that can really disrupt our sleep is chaotic relationships. It just disrupts our nervous system in a way that deserves another talk, actually. I have stories around that. Let's just see your environment, your relationships, healthy, whole, everything in your house is at peace. That's the old chapter we're closing here. One of them at least is the chaos in the house. Just see that flame calming down. And as that's happening, the back of your third eye is like, I can sleep deeper at night now. All right, we're putting those biophotons, those light particles we harmonize on both sides right back in that third eye. Just imagine purple particles of light coming right back in the back of your head, healing the occipital lobe, healing your brain, healing any area in your mind here that needs a touch from God. We're going to do a little skim coating of the crown to just kind of cut some overwhelm. Now we have the energy rise up to your third eye. So we want to see it get all the way to the top of your crown and see it going out of your biofield. So let's imagine the color white on top of your head. You're in the right place at the right time. God is with you. He's a part of the very essence of your being. You're connected to all the resources, all the finances, all the answers that you need right now, even the people, whatever it is that you're praying about. I'm always amazed how it really can actually feel so much less pressure when we tune up this crown. Let's get the other side. So continue to see white light coming through the crown, going in your body. Every single cell is filling up. So remember, you're like a crystal, as I mentioned in the beginning. You're like a prism, and that white light from the sun is coming down and just pushing through, and all these beautiful colors of the rainbow are able to shine through. This is also helping your sleep, getting those positive protons through the crown into the brain. Everything, I just see all your brain waves and those electrical pulses. Everything's working out. Your glymphatic system, the lymphatic system in your brain is detoxing. Anything that doesn't belong is being squeezed right out. Detoxed, going down your neck, being fully eliminated with ease and grace. Right now I'm seeing it was almost like a shell around the head. And as we did that glymphatic work, it's like, whoa, just a sense of relief. So we're connecting the crown to the top of the biofield. It's like all of a sudden, I'm connected to the heavenly realms. It was already here. I just needed to clear that static. Peace. It's not that serious. Whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're worried about, whatever you're concerned about, it's not that serious. The answer's already here. Just let it drop in your spirit. What is the answer? What is the answer you're searching for? It's already here. That's going to help you sleep well at night, just receiving that answer right now. All right, let's go ahead and bring some attention to the pineal gland. So when this pineal gland is off, it's like we can have this muted feeling, like, I can't hear from God. I want you to see, I don't even know what color the pineal gland really is, but it's probably pink, I'm guessing. But let's imagine a purple crystal in the middle of your brain where the pineal gland is, and it's connected to all the energy fields of the universe. And in that universe, in this universe, I should say, that we live in, all the answers are in this quantum web of existence that we live in. on an energetic level, I feel like sleep challenges here, whoever's listening to this, it's like we're trying to sort out all these answers, but what if they're just here right now? See yourself connected to it. See yourself with the answers in the palm of your hand. And that crystal, just like this necklace actually, it's a purple crystal. It even kind of looks like a pineal gland. The third eye chakra. I feel like as we're meditating on Ideal Crystal, it's like, whoa, the light is getting brighter and brighter. It's already there, it's just was dimmed, but you're getting brighter and brighter. See your pineal gland in the morning absorbing all the rays of the sun, so that at night the melatonin is being made with ease and grace. And I see the sun, all those protons coming through the top of your head and just melting away that calcification on the pineal gland if it's calcified. Silica is also coming to the rescue and holding that calcium in the areas in the body where it belongs. And the iodine is taken away and you fluoride. And this can be happening even on an energetic level, just a mere thought of thinking about those things. You fluoride that's been causing this calcification. Just see yourself so in tune. All of a sudden, it's like this clairvoyance that was already there is just even louder. I feel like we're in a season right now too, where our spiritual gifts, our God-given spiritual gifts and our inherent design are becoming so much more louder as all the matrix is being exposed. All the false lies are being teared down, and it's like we could really see things for what they are. Let's go to the other side of pineal gland. So let's just see that purple crystal receiving all those divine downloads. You're just so in tune with the magnetic fields around you and the voice of God. Even animals have a pineal gland and these magnetosensors that connect to all these magnetic fields. That's how they can travel during the winter to a place south to be warm and then return home in the same place. They just follow the magnetic fields. That's how we are designed too. So we're clearing the static so we can just navigate so naturally in tune with all the natural cycles of life. Like we're jumping a river, we're floating. We catch the updrafts when it's time to catch the updrafts. We rest when it's time to rest. So we're going to set the intention as we're tuning this other side of the pineal gland now that from here on out, divine sleep, deep sleep is yours. All right, we're going to put those biophotons back that we harmonized in the pineal gland. You are getting the best night's sleep tonight. interruptions, no waking up, just peace, surrender, rest, and even divine downloads in your dreams. Messages from God popping into your dreams. Waking up feeling so refreshed. Oh, I feel very much centered in this place here right now. That's where you want to be. That's where you want to rest, in that feeling of feeling centered, where energy is not stifled left or right or all around or up and down. You're centered. All right, so let's go ahead and tie you up in the rainbow light cocoon. We're going to use 528 hertz. I want you to imagine from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head, left and right and left to right, we are putting rainbow light, wrapping you up like a little baby, sleeping tight at night. You are safe, you're secure, you are loved. Everything is working out for good. God's got your back, and He is in every single detail, working things out. All you have to do is sit back, receive the message, and move forward as you are shown with ease and grace. And I just pray that everybody here has a great night's sleep tonight and all the nights after. Amen.